Steve Robertson here for the Internet Video Studio. The subject today is encoding and compression. I'm working in the After Effects program because that allows me to demonstrate both of the most commonly used encoding formats that are available to both Mac and Windows users. That would be QuickTime and Flash Video. If you still have a reason to use Windows Media Video, the principles discussed here will still apply. Once you have created your movie, you usually need to encode that movie into a format that will work for your end use. The first step is always to go to the File menu, choose Export, and let's start with QuickTime Movie. This will give you a dialog box with a variety of choices for your movie. Let's take them from top to bottom. When you click on Settings, the first thing you get is a drop-down menu that tells you all of the codecs that are available in the QuickTime system. Most of these you'll never have a use for. If you want to create a full quality version of your video to take into a post-processing program, US users would choose this codec, DVC Pro-NTSC. The newest and most commonly used codec in the QuickTime system is H.264. So let's stay with that one. You have several choices within the H.264 codec. The most common reason for setting all of your choices rather than using a preset would be to create a file much smaller but still with acceptable quality. One way to do that is to look at your frames per second. The default is 29.97. You can make a much smaller file by going to 15 frames per second. If your video does not involve a lot of motion, you probably won't even notice this change. If you have a high motion video, such as a sports video, you might want to keep it at the default level. Keyframes, you can usually stick with the default. Data rate, you can usually stick with automatic. The compressor is another choice that will give you a big effect on the size of your file. Default is high quality. If you want to make a smaller file, you might want to go down to medium or even low. Encoding, leave it at multipass unless you're just in a big hurry to have your finished encoded video, in which case you can choose the single pass, but it will give you a slightly lower quality video. Now let's look at the next choice here. If you use an editing program to create your video, you'll probably never need to use QuickTime's filter button because all of these filters are available within your editing program. But if you use QuickTime Pro to encode QuickTime, you might occasionally use one of these filters. Another important choice is the size of your video. The default is the same size that the video was captured in your camera. To create a smaller file size, you want to choose a smaller video frame size, and one popular choice is 320 by 240 pixels. You can choose preserve aspect ratio if you have elements within your video that might be distorted by stretching or squeezing the video slightly. In most cases you can leave that unchecked, but this choice is very important. If you use anything more other than a brand new video camera, your camera probably captures interlaced video, and you can improve the appearance of that video for computer replay by checking the deinterlaced source video box. Moving on down to sound, you see that the default is uncompressed sound. If you want to create a smaller file size for embedding in a web page or downloading, you can choose any one of these codecs to compress your audio. Common choice is MPEG-4. You can also set a lower data rate for the MPEG-4 encoding. This is especially effective if you have audio that is voice only. You can go down a bit on the data rate with voice only without affecting the quality of your audio. In the last choice here, prepare for internet streaming, the only reason you would uncheck that would be if you're creating a full quality video to move on to another post-processing program. Otherwise, leave that checked.